PDP, the ADC, and all of that. Now, in the case of the ADC, what we have seen, Mr. Peter Obi, Dr. Kwankwaso joining that particular party, the NDC, that's the Nigerian Democratic Congress. It must not become an IDP camp. That is a camp for internally displaced politicians. Yesterday, I said the population, the membership register has grown to about 9.4 million. As of this morning, it has gone beyond 10 million. So all kinds of internally displaced politicians are running to the IDP camp that the NDC is likely to become, led by Senator Seriake Dixon. Now the NDC has suddenly become the beautiful bride.
2027 is going to be a cracker. Nigerian political landscape, this one don't pass Hollywood. It now Bollywood now. It be like Indian film trick. Many things. ADC was like the new bride. Suddenly, Obi Kwankwaso moved. NDC is now the newest bride. ADC now are mourning their fortune. You know, there was a lot of mismanagement in ADC. They didn't manage this Obi. Obi is like an anointed man of God. Obi is like David. If you don't manage David, there will be an upset. There will be an upset. ADC did not have the capacity to manage Obi. We pray that NDC now will manage Obi. Although court cases have risen, APC now said that the logo of NDC is like broom. How can these two fingers be like broom? If it's not problem that APC are looking for, how can you tell me that these two fingers is like broom? Are we blind? How can fingers become like broom? So that is the contention of APCO, that they are suing NDCO, that the two fingers in their logo is like broom. Then another court case, ADA, are suing NDC for INEC registering NDC. Just get it right. ADA are suing NDC. Why did INEC register NDC? But come to think of it, is it not INEC they're supposed to sue for registering? So all these things are a joke. All we know is that let's just continue to pray. Let there not be a grave legal litigation against this NDC. We want P2OB to be in the ballot. We want this to be a free and fair election. We want a free fight. And apart from that, Nigerians want the ruling government to leave. We have suffered enough. So we want Obi to be in that ballot. ADC wanted to shortchange Obi. Obi don't get sense. Obi don't get sense. So I want to let's watch this analysis. Let's see this. Let's watch this analysis. We'll see on the other side, guys. We'll see on the other side.
The 13-member interim committee approved in this 103rd National Executive Committee meeting is led by Kabiru Turaki as National Chairman and Taufik Arapaja as National Secretary. The decision follows the convening of the NEC by 2/3 of its 142 members, with Senator Adolphus Wabara as pro-tem chairman following his nomination and endorsement.
Faction of the People's Democratic Party has rejected the 103rd NEC meeting and the emergence of a caretaker committee allegedly convened by a group led by Senator Adolphus Wabara and Kabiru Turaki. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, John Gudo Mohammed, the party says no such meeting has been authorized by its leadership, while declaring all decisions from the said meeting as null and void. The party says the said meeting failed to comply with provisions of the Electoral Act since the Independent National Electoral Commission was not notified.
Is the CTC come out for the judgment that was given?
No, not yet.
I'm not sure.
No, Shey Makinde said that yesterday.
Because we need to be able to properly interpret the CTC, because what the CTC has done is, what the judgment, based on their interpretation, is not doing is it has brought about two factions. The Turaki faction is claiming victory. The other faction is claiming victory. When what we heard from the judgment is that both factions were cancelled out because of the cross-appeal of Ayahu and the Turaki scenario. So as it looks to me, as far as I'm concerned, the PDP is dead. Because I don't know if they are going to now go back to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation of the judgment or what is said or clarity, because I don't know. And that's why the other faction, the Wiki faction, is now saying that I do not subscribe to what has been done with this BOT, 103rd BOT and all of that. The grand plan is to ensure that these political parties are so emasculated that they can't produce a candidate. I can't see where on God's earth, PDP will produce a presidential candidate. And that's why when Turaki was saying that they will produce a presidential candidate, it feels like the joke of the century to me. So I don't know what the likes of the Sheyi Makindes of this world are getting at. Which faction even would INEC recognize with this Supreme Court judgment? What's the effect? Because I also hear that former Attorney General of the Federation has picked up a PDP position in Benue State. So will that...
Yes, Michael
Anoka, will that be ratified? I probably think he's aligning with the weaker side of the things, but will that be ratified? So as it is today, whatever ploy they have to ensure that all these political parties scatter, the PDP is gone. But I don't like writing off the PDP because around 2014, 15, 16, thereabout, it was embroiled with a lot of turmoil. If they told you that PDP will come out of it and be able to provide a candidate in 2019 elections and compete, it would have been a long drawn-out one then. In fact, those were the days of the NPDP, the new PDP and all of that. But they found a way. It's a matter of their challenges one way or the other. So I don't like to write them off. But in this political dispensation, they're gone. I saw the analysis on this day, yes, and it pretty much echoes, what we have been saying. The path to presidency for Obi is quite going to be narrow because votes will be split across board. Atiku Abubakar definitely will get some votes. It will be split across board. But I think, apart from the ambition of this man, they should find a synergy because yesterday the Atiku supporters group were on the offensive. Bolaji Abdullahi was booked on television yesterday, went to cast aspersions that Obi, was booked. A couple of their people went on television to fight back. In fact, they called Obi all sorts of names and said he just wanted to steamroll himself. He's not ready to compete in anything and all of that. Obi has not come out to say otherwise because Obi was explicit when he was leaving the party that it's not about his elder brother and all of that. And I think he maintained that level of decorum. The question is, will he come back swinging? I doubt. Maybe some of his surrogates might come back swinging. But do these two people that were in bed and they felt that President Tinubu was the common enemy, is this how much acrimony they now have after this breakup? And the question is it a breakup or a divorce? Most likely I will say it's a breakup because they might still come back together at some point. As with people, they fall in love, they fall out of love, they get in and out of love. Even people that are divorced do still come back together. I mean, I've heard of couples that come back together after so many years, a couple. But if their overriding aim and ambition was to win President Tinubu in an election, have they not lost that aim as we speak because they can't come together? And because they can't speak together? The same thing they said was their albatross in 2023. Has it not happened to them again? Because there's definitely going to be a lot of vote splits across board. But don't also forget that President Tinubu is incumbent this time around. Like I said yesterday, he's an incumbent that knows how to use power for his own political gains, not necessarily to better the lots of the people, because we've seen a lot of poverty, deprivation, and all of that on that tenure. Not to say that there was no case of poverty before him, but it's been about him and his friends largely. You can see that in their award of contracts and things like that. So if they say they want to fight for the people, all of a sudden, and they are doing this, then what's the way forward for them? Bolaji Abdullahi all of a sudden comes out to say that Obi doesn't even know the manifesto. He doesn't like to have the manifesto conversations and everything. The question is, does he even know the manifesto of the ADC? So the path is going to be narrow, but we'll see how it pans out. All of this just remain in the realm of political calculation.
The PDP, the ADC, and all of that. Now, in the case of the ADC, what you have seen, Mr. Peter Obi, Dr. Kwankwaso joining that particular party, the NDC. Yes, it has changed the momentum in the NDC. That's the Nigerian Democratic Congress, led by Senator Seriake Texin. Now the NDC has suddenly become the beautiful bride. But what I see in that is that, look, Nigeria is a very interesting country. The NDC may even emerge as the major opposition party, but as I was warning, back page of this day newspaper today, it must not become an IDP camp. That is a camp for internally displaced politicians. Yesterday, I said the population, the membership register has grown to about 9.4 million. As of this morning, it has gone beyond 10 million. So all kinds of internally displaced politicians are running to the IDP camp that the NDC is likely to become. As for people saying the party doesn't have a manifesto, yes, it has a website where it's saying, service to the people, rule of law, agriculture, transportation. But these are epigrammatic slogans that every political party will come up with. The NDC must engage the people, apart from making sure that it doesn't become an IDP camp, at the level of ensuring that it has a basic contract with the Nigerian people. And I think that the NDC emerging is a wake-up call for the ruling party, the APC, even if everyone in the APC has made an attempt to just dismiss the party. And as I said yesterday, President Tinubu playing rose garden politics, showing strength, stability, and confidence, and appearing calm. But what it means is that the opposition cannot be suppressed in this country. If you close them down in ADC, you try to close them down in the PDP, of course, they will show up somewhere else. And our expectation is that the political contestation ahead of the 2027 process would be competitive, and that the people will have the opportunities to choose, and to choose wisely, because that is what democracy is all about, and not that they are presented with a fair accompli. There will be more interesting episodes ahead, not just this, but I think that both Peter Obi and Kwankwaso, they brought a different kind of heft, pace, momentum to the NDC. But we'll see how it plays out. Now that there are some other parties, like Dr. Umar Ado and others, questioning the legitimacy of the party itself, saying that they were registered, the party was registered out of order, or that the National Legal Advisor was chosen in violation of Section 77 of the Electoral Act 2026. As for the PDP, Rufai, you were saying, is the CTC even out yet? Well, we've said a number of things about the courts in Nigeria, that the courts in Nigeria should be more transparent. In other jurisdictions, take Britain, when a particular judgment is delivered, immediately you will see the certified true copy. They will even put it online. There's no ambiguity. Yeah. But here in Nigeria, the Supreme Court itself has given some judgments that nobody has seen the certified true copy till today. Yeah. So what is the CR doing? The court registrar. If you say you have taken time, we will reserve our judgment on so time. The assumption is that the court will have had their lordships will have had their conference, and there will have been a written judgment. So why the delay? And that is why the people who are affected by the judgment, they have different interpretations, as we have seen in the ADC, as we have seen in the PDP. And politicians become lawyers. They even become more eloquent than the court itself. And then confusion is created. The Wike faction is claiming victory. The Sheyi Makinde Turaki faction is also claiming victory. Now, what you are likely to find in the case of the PDP, where nobody even spoke Latin, we have said, they should, as much as possible, please leave Latin. Speak the language of living people. Even in the UK jurisdiction, they try to speak what people will understand. So in writing the judgments, just be clear, be concise. So, but in the PDP, they have not, they didn't use Latino. But the gladiators in the PDP, they are doing their own interpretation and doing that. I don't know what language. They are speaking. But what it means is that the conflict in the PDP has not ended. Wiki is not going to take it lightly. Maybe they will still go back to the court. But as for the NDC, the Nigeria Democratic Congress, the way forward is for that party that seems to be the new bride to learn from the examples, the experience of the ADC and the PDP. Or otherwise, they could find themselves in very troubled waters, if not a storm, shortly.
I think Dr. Ruben Abati have just nailed the coffin. He has just put the name of the coffin, saying that NDC should learn from the misfortunes of ADC, because ADC really mismanaged Obi. And it has been speculated that any party Obi leaves dies. Obi left Abga. Abga did their funeral. Obi left PDP. PDP did their funeral. Obi left Labour Party. Labour Party did their funeral. Now, Obi have decided to leave NDC. NDC are planning for their burial. So, the thing is, let NDC learn, so that we will have this election run free and fair. Although the free and fair depends on the incumbent, because they are, I don't know. Just drop your comment in the description. Will this election be free and fair? See you on the other side.